How's it going, guys? TFF here, back with another video doing my power rankings after week 5. This is going to be starting with number 32 down to 1, and there should be some interesting discussions going on. At number 32, Jacksonville Jaguars. This is really a toss-up between them and 31 ranked New York Jets. I give it the slight edge to the Jets at 31 since they won a game, but both teams look pretty miserable, especially with their losses respectively. Both teams do have rookie QBs, Trevor Lawrence for the Jacksonville Jaguars and Zach Wilson for the New York Jets. Both haven't looked incredibly impressive. Both are quite poor teams. I do prefer the coaching of the New York Jets as well, and since they won a game, they're at 31, and the Jaguars are at 32. At number 30, Houston Texans. We really saw the impact that Tyrod Taylor going down has had on the Houston Texans. Brandon Cook's production has went down since Tyrod's went down. Mills is trying his best out there. He's a rookie quarterback, and he doesn't have a crazy amount of options. He really is trying his best, but it's just not a very good team all around. And with a quarterback like Mills, I'm not sure how far they can get. At number 29, Detroit Lions. An 0-5 team, but they show more life than any of the other teams that I listed beforehand. Jared Goff has looked bad in spurts, but also pretty decent, but I think that the standout player on the Lions has been DeAndre Swift so far. He's looked fantastic, and I feel as though that if they could get a more consistent quarterback, I know Goff should be the quarterback of the future since they traded for him or traded Matthew Stafford for him. He just needs to be a little bit better in order for this team to be there. They have had multiple chances to win games, but it hasn't really gone their way. But they haven't looked like the worst team in the NFL by any means. Number 28, Miami Dolphins. Losing Tua really hurt them. Brissett is okay. He's not the greatest quarterback. I wouldn't even consider him good. With Tua, I think this team is significantly better, but without him, that offense looks pretty bad. Defensively, they give up 45 points, but that is to Tom Brady, so it is like explainable considering Tom Brady might win the MVP, but still, they were pretty much out of that game as soon as it started. At number 27, I'm taking injury into consideration in this one. I'm putting the New York Giants in there. Saquon probably going to be out for a bit. Daniel Jones might come back, but we're not sure how good he'll be on his way back. Kenny Golladay also going to be out. Hopefully they can get Sterling Shepard back in there, but I don't really see this team being any better than 27th ranked. At number 26, a disappointing one, Washington football team. Offensively, they've looked pretty okay, but defensively, surprisingly, they haven't looked the greatest. They did lose to the Saints, which Saints are a pretty decent team, but they should have really been winning that game if they wanted to contend for something more. At number 27, at number 25, after winning in London, Atlanta Falcons, 2-3 record, not fantastic. Defense still needs a little bit of help, although they did play well in London against the Jets. Pitts, Ridley, Ryan, and then Cordell Patterson. That should really be the four that you should be keeping an eye on. That whole offense does not seem too bad on paper. Cordell Patterson having a fantastic season. Matt Ryan looking pretty decent in that last game. And Pitts scoring his first touchdown pass of the season. All around good game for the Falcons. At number 24, a disappointing result here, Indianapolis Colts. They would be significantly higher if they could just close out a game. That game against the Ravens should have been over. Missing field goals is unacceptable, and then losing that the way that they did was pretty tough. I feel as though once that blocked field goal happened, or even the missed field goal, the momentum started to change, and Lamar Jackson was basically on one after then. Terrible loss, cannot happen, and they're low ranked for that reason. At 23, the Chicago Bears. 3-2 record, which is kind of surprising. They did move up maybe 5 or 6 spots from last week. Fields has been looking okay so far. They really have to get Allen Robinson more involved in the offense. He's, in my opinion, an elite receiver, and he hasn't really been getting fed that much. Even without David Montgomery, it's a pretty bad offense. Damon Williams hasn't been looking good either, and he is on the COVID protocol, I believe. So this is going to be a tough week going forward for the Bears. Number 22, New England Patriots, just an average team. Mac Jones has been showing decent glimpses, and he did get a game-winning drive, I believe, at the end of the game. But this was against the Texans, and it shouldn't have been that hard. At 21, heavy droppers, Seattle Seahawks, and I'm forecasting the injury that Russell Wilson has and how good Geno Smith will do. I don't see this team going much further with Russell Wilson down. He was creating magic, and I don't since that magic is gone, I don't think that they're a very good team. Number 20, Rising, and I think with a win tonight against the Buccaneers, they'll be absolutely fantastic, and I do think that they definitely have a shot, and it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts looked really good towards this end of the game in the second half. First half was pretty miserable, but he really came back strong, did great work, and I think Hurts is an underrated quarterback. Additionally, I think that defense was pretty decent, and Sam Darnold didn't have the greatest game, but they capitalized on their opportunities. Jalen Hurts had a great game, and I think that 20th ranked is definitely fair. Number 19, Denver Broncos. Tough loss to the Steelers. They didn't look great, but I think that with a win, they'll easily move up. They're a little bit impressive. At number 18, Las Vegas Raiders, losing their coach for very, very real reasons and justifiably. It is going to hurt them. I have them at 18, but I'm really forecasting to see how it goes going forward, and I think next week we'll get a better picture of that. At number 17, San Francisco 49ers. Kittle really not producing, and I think he's injured now. Brandon Ayuk not producing, and that running back injuries at the beginning of the season really hurt them. They're just not looking like a great team. At number 16, Pittsburgh Steelers, 2-3 record, but they have been looking pretty decent. Najee Harris has been looking fantastic. However, Juju Smith-Schuster going down, maybe for the season, is looking rough. But Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool, Najee Harris, that should be enough firepower to get them a few wins. If that defense can continue to remain very good, they'll end up winning some games. If that slips even a little bit, I think that they're in some trouble. At number 15, I like the Minnesota Vikings. No Dalvin Cook, no problem. Madison played very well, but now he's limited, so that means Dalvin Cook should be coming back in, and that's really how they're going to perform at their best. Dalvin Cook is an elite running back, and I think that he's going to be absolutely fantastic. 2 elite receivers, not a great quarterback, but good enough, serviceable. That defense needs to improve just slightly, and I think that it's a possibility they could be a wildcard team. Number 14, disappointing the Carolina Panthers. They definitely had disappointing performances here. Even with McCaffrey out, they can't be losing to the Eagles if they want to be a contender. Now they're with a 3-2 record on the season, so I'm just to see how they're going to do going forward. At number 13, Cincinnati Bengals. I love this team to even begin the season. I had really high hopes. I'm a huge fan of that offense. Burrows, Mixon, Chase, Boyd, Higgins, that's just so many options. So many mouths to feed, and it's been working out really well for the Bengals. That defense does scare me a little bit, but they're looking absolutely electric. Jamar Chase in single coverage is absolutely torching defenders, and I think that if that can continue, they'll be a fantastic team to watch, and they are very, very exciting. At number 12, Tennessee Titans. They moved up my list quite a bit. This is because without Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, they still won the game. It wasn't against the greatest opposition. However, Derrick Henry just put on an absolute great performance. The Jaguars do suck pretty badly, but even to win they were expected to win the Titans, but without A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, they did still put up almost 40 points and looked good all around. Number 11, New Orleans Saints. They're kind of a roller coaster team, up and downs, but this week was definitely good. Kamara finally was producing, and I think it was all pretty good. They're going to get some nice boosts with Michael Thomas maybe coming back, Traquan Smith maybe coming back, and Terron Armstead maybe coming back. So I think that this team is definitely on the rise. At number 10, dropping significantly, Kansas City Chiefs. They lost a pretty fair, or actually very entertaining game too. The Buffalo Bills, and I do think that that's going to drop them. They just haven't looked very impressive going forward, and I think that unless their defense turns around, which is some of the worst defense I've ever seen, I think that they're going to be in a tough position. At number 9, Cleveland Browns. Great shootout against the Chargers. I think that it was definitely an entertaining game, and I think that if they can keep that ground game going like they can with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, they're going to be a tough team. The way that they play football is really tough for teams to contend because they're not going to really give the other team too many possessions because they chew up so much of the clock, so it's going to be interesting to see how they're countered. At number 8, Los Angeles Rams, 4-1 record, looking fantastic. Robert Woods with a breakout game, Stafford looking good. All around stud team. Special shout out to Darrell Henderson because he's looking fantastic. At number 7, Baltimore Ravens. I was going to knock them down quite a bit if they lost the Colts because that was a tough loss to take, but Lamar Jackson showed that he's still an elite quarterback. I'm not sure how far this team can go, especially with the Browns and the Bengals and the Steelers in the division. That's a tough division, really. So they're gonna have to win out a lot of those divisional games in order to get close to the top of the division. Green Bay Packers at number 6, looking fantastic. Devontae Adams looked great. Aaron Rodgers looked great. Aaron Jones not too productive, but he's gonna turn around pretty soon. Just an explosive offense. They're looking good. Number 5, LA Chargers, huge win. last week against the Browns, 2 weeks ago against the Chiefs, I believe. They've just been looking fantastic. Eckler looks great. Mike Williams looks great. Herbert looks great. They need to get Keenan Allen a little bit more involved for my liking, but all around, great team. At number 4, Dallas Cowboys. Dak looking fantastic and Ezekiel Elliott looking fantastic. That's always going to lead to success. However, I think the real standout here is the defense. They've been surprisingly amazing, I would say. No one really expected this, and I think Micah Parsons has really changed up how that looks. At number 3, the Bucks. They did win 45-17, and there's no real reason to knock them, but I just think that two teams are ahead of them right now. Let's see how they play tonight against Philly. At number 2, Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. They are the only undefeated team, and I really didn't feel like knocking them off, but I think that the number 1 team was better overall. The Cardinals are definitely a team to watch out for. That division is tough with the Seahawks and the Rams. With the Seahawks going down, Russell Wilson going down, it's really going to be a two-leg race between the Rams and the Cardinals. So let's see how that plays out. And at number 1, after a huge win, the Buffalo Bills. Absolutely fantastic defense, fantastic offense. They're looking like the most complete team in the NFL. And I think that this week that they're the best team and they're going to be the best team moving forward. Thank you guys so much. TFF out. Like and subscribe.